April 26, 1986, Chernobyl's Reactor 4. A routine safety test spiraled out of control. Engineers, confident in their systems, had no idea disaster was seconds away. At 1:23 a.m., a power surge triggered a catastrophic explosion. The emergency shutdown failed, making things worse. A deafening roar shattered the night. Blue atomic fire shot skyward. The reactor's 2,000-ton lid was blown off, hurling radioactive material into the atmosphere. The air itself became lethal. Inside, chaos reigned. Smoke, dust, darkness and silence replaced the familiar hum of machinery. Control panels crashed, alarms died, and every piece of advanced equipment became useless. The men were cut off, blinded, surrounded by an invisible, deadly force. In a single moment, the modern world they trusted vanished. The disaster destroyed not just the reactor, but their connection to the outside world. The world would never be the same. Chernobyl's silence was the beginning of a new kind of crisis. The most terrifying thing after the blast was the silence. Communication systems, phones, intercoms, radios were dead. Radiation from the explosion unleashed a wave of energy that instantly fried electronics. Microchips and transistors, the pride of Soviet engineering, were destroyed in a flash. This was an electromagnetic pulse, an EMP, rendering modern devices useless. First responders arrived blind, unable to coordinate or call for help. Their radios failed as soon as they entered the radiation zone. They fought a fire unlike any other, cut off from command and each other. The failure of technology was not just inconvenient, it was deadly. In Chernobyl's ruins, the silence was absolute. The world's most advanced systems had failed when they were needed most. Only the simplest tools would survive. With modern systems dead, survivors turned to a relic, the R105D field radio. Designed in the 1950s for war, it was heavy, simple and rugged. No digital displays, no microprocessors, just chunky knobs and a green metal box. Its secret weapon, a hand-crank generator. No batteries or power grid required, just human effort. In the radioactive ruins, these old radios worked when nothing else did. The R105's robust design made it immune to the EMP that destroyed modern tech. Soviet engineers had built it for the worst conditions imaginable. Their foresight gave Chernobyl survivors a voice in the silence. Amidst the wreckage, the R105 crackled to life. It was a lifeline, not a relic. Sometimes the past is the only thing that endures. In Chernobyl, the old ways saved lives. The R105's resilience came from what it lacked, microchips and transistors. Instead, it used vacuum tubes, bulky, power-hungry, but nearly indestructible. Vacuum tubes are resistant to radiation and EMPs. Their large, simple components can survive what destroys modern electronics. While microchips are precise but fragile, vacuum tubes are durable, like a hammer compared to a watch. As radiation swept over Chernobyl, the R105's vacuum tubes kept working. The hand crank powered the radio, and the old tubes amplified the signal. These radios reconnected the disaster site to the outside world. The first accurate reports of the explosion travelled through these obsolete devices. Ironically, the future was saved by technology from the past. Sometimes simplicity is the ultimate strength. The R105 proved it. The R105 was built on a powerful idea, the Grid Zero principle. Assume all external support, power, networks, supply chains, has failed. The device must function as a self-contained island. Soviet engineers designed for nuclear war, where infrastructure could vanish in minutes. The hand-crank generator embodied this mindset. No batteries, no grid, just human power. Every dependency removed was a weakness eliminated. The R105 did one job: voice communication, under any conditions. It wasn't about features or convenience, it was about survival. Ruthless simplicity made it reliable when nothing else was. In a crisis, resilience matters more than performance. The R105 was a lifeline, not a luxury. Its strength was deliberate, not accidental. Sometimes less truly is more. Modern technology dazzles with power and convenience. But every device, smartphones, cars, smart homes, relies on a fragile web of dependencies. Your phone needs a charged battery, cell towers, satellites, and servers. Break any link, and it's useless. The R105 stands in stark contrast. No network, no grid, no dependencies. It's heavy, inconvenient, and requires effort. But it works when everything else fails. In a blackout, the smartphone is a brick. The R105 is priceless. This isn't nostalgia. It's about trade-offs. We've traded resilience for convenience. The Grid Zero principle asks, what's your backup plan? The R105's backup plan was built in. Sometimes the simplest solution is the only one that survives. Resilience is a feature we can't afford to forget. Vacuum tube technology isn't just history. It's still in use. Militaries worldwide keep vacuum tube systems for one reason: survival. The US Air Force and Russian military use them in critical systems built to withstand nuclear EMPs. In a nuclear exchange, modern electronics would fail instantly. Only hardened old-school tech would keep working. This isn't nostalgia. It's strategy. Sometimes resilience is the only feature that matters. The lesson: progress isn't always linear. Some obsolete tools have superpowers modern tech lacks. When everything else fails, the old ways endure. Chernobyl and the R105 teach us about technology's true value. We live in a world of seamless convenience, but rarely question its fragility. In crisis, complexity becomes a liability. The simplest, most independent tool is often the last to fail. The R105 didn't need the world to work, just a human hand. Advanced should mean resilient, not just powerful. In daily life, smartphones rule. In disaster, the humble radio wins. We don't need to abandon progress, but we must value resilience. Build redundancies. Have backup plans that don't rely on fragile infrastructure. Appreciate tools that do one job well without dependencies. The old ways aren't about going backward. They're about building a durable future. Resilience is a lesson we can't afford to forget. The past has something vital to teach us. Since 1986, Our dependence on fragile technology has only grown. Our digital world is more vulnerable than we think. A disaster could plunge us into silence, just like Chernobyl. True preparedness means valuing reliability over novelty. Keep a hand-cranked radio. Learn basic skills. Ask, what does your technology need to work? What if it's gone? The R105's lesson is for everyone. Resilience matters. Share this story. Start the conversation. The future must be smart and strong. When all else fails, the simplest tool will see us through. As we close this chapter, remember, resilience begins with knowledge and community. If you found this story thought-provoking, don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating tales of innovation, history and survival. Visuals. Animated subscribe button pulses on screen. A bell icon appears, gently ringing. Thumbnails of previous videos slide in along the edges, inviting viewers to explore more content. Join our growing community. Hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and be the first to discover new stories every week. Together, let's build a smarter, stronger future. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.